Okay, welcome back. This is part two of our textiles exploration with Danny Lopez. Please continue.
Yeah, so picking right up from the notebook pages, this is a really large purse. I would say the dimensions are about 2 feet by 2 feet. And then the drink club, the drink tickets from Lexington Club was actually based on research that I did at the GLBT Museum in San Francisco. So this is something that I'm hoping to do more of. There's a Lesbian History Archive in New York City that I'm hopefully planning to go to one day. Just got to get that grant money, spend 2 weeks there, get deep into the archive. So that's definitely on my radar.
Awesome.
So yeah, just literally, this is exactly how it looked. Much smaller though. Um, so yeah, it's one of the ways that research kind of manifests itself into the work, even when it may not seem so apparent to a viewer.
hmm So when you say the drink ticket is the thing that you saw in your research, was it the drink ticket alone or the purse and the pills? Was it all part of like one composition and you rendered it out of sculptural materials?
No, so it was just the drink
Okay.
tickets, and I had this larger idea that came out of that research, and I thought, okay, so if this girl is going to this very famous, it was almost open for 20 years, Lexington Club lesbian bar in San Francisco. This girl went there regularly and she had these drink tickets on her purse. What else would she have? And what would the purse look like? And then it just
Mm.
kind of sprung from there.
Nice.
Uh, Looking at the research there at the museum and just in the archive and just getting really excited.
Yeah. And then creating a narrative around it. Very
Yeah.
cool. Nice.
And so this is the kind of the third area that I work in. Embroidery, applique. They're two totally different things, but especially within this work, I kind of consider it to be a little bit of a blend. So this is sequins that are appliqued or embroidered on top of fake satin, imitation satin. And I'm going to show you this body of work that started last summer. I want to give just a little bit of background. So all of these images are based on either film or TV stills that feature a queer woman on the dance floor. So I had this. I was watching this movie called BPM. It's a French movie about the ACT UP movement in the 80s in Paris, France. And there's this beautiful moment, and it kind of occurs throughout the movie of all of these activists, these young gay and lesbian activists on the dance floor, kind of sharing a moment of like joy and being able to kind of forget about this large epidemic that was happening all over the world. And that's where the idea came to be is like, I don't see a lot of moments like that featuring queer women, and how can I kind of contribute to an archive or a collection of those images in my own way as an artist? And then that's how this project came to be. So all of them do feature a figure. I'm not really interested in kind of hand delivering that to the viewer. I'm actually much more interested in complicating it, making you think, making you slow down, making you really kind of wrestle with this. What is actually here? What am I really looking at? Because that's kind of the frustration I feel when I don't see these. Like I really had to dig for these stills. I really had to look hard. And when I found them, I felt like a part of me was seen in a way. So I wanted to kind of have a dialogue with these artists that made these films and these TV shows and be in conversation with them, literally with the stills that I was interacting with. Um, so yeah, I will mention all of the movies and TV shows. So the first one, BPM, I highly recommend. Desiree Akhavan, she made a movie called Appropriate Behavior, and then a TV show called The Bisexual. And then also, I am working from stills from Euphoria, so everyone's very familiar with that because it's much more new, much more popular, very
I'm not.
visually.
It's a Netflix show, yeah?
HBO,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, and it's very dark. It's very visually like beautiful, and has a lot of like queer and trans characters, which is why I was trying to kind of, and then that's also the thing is it's how when in time do these images become the source for this work? A lot of it has been within probably the last 5 or 10 years, and I'm realizing that maybe there's like maybe I need to go further back in time. So that's been coming up. And then also, if there are any queer women in the audience, there's an episode in Black Mirror. It's just referred to, I mean, the name of the episode is San Junipero. And if you say that to queer women in the know, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'll just leave it at that. And then, yes, this is the most recent work of this series that I made. This was finished right before a solo show I had at Root Division in San Francisco. Made this in about 2 weeks, which I didn't think was humanly possible. And come to find out, if you have a deadline, you can do just about anything. So.
And Root Division is a gallery and a studio space in San Francisco?
So it's a larger arts organization. They actually have education programming there as well. So they have monthly to every 6 weeks exhibitions there, and then a large artist studio program. We have about 25 artists there at any given moment, subsidized rent, and it's a really great organization in the city.
And just to reiterate, you've taken stills from these shows and these movies. So you've paused the screen and then you zoom in, or you just make a small selection and then you're reanimating it?
I knew I was forgetting a step. I'm actually having them printed on the fabric. So the color, the actual image is what I obscure with the sequins. And that's very purposeful because most of the time you can't even really see the figure, and a lot of the stills I'm actually darkening it considerably too. So there's some pre-editing that happens before I even have it printed, and then there's decisions that happen after with the sequins. If I think something is looking a little too much like a figure, I start to make just slight deviations to kind of obscure it.
So you had them print on the fabric. And what kind of printer do they usually use to print on fabric?
I know that there's certain, I've never used the one at my alma mater, but I actually have this, like I do it online. I have it sent and delivered. It's actually somewhere in London. It's very strange.
Okay.
But yeah, there's just printers that you just put in a roll of fabric and then it prints right on it. So I'm guessing it's something like just a large format like Epson. So something you would do any kind of like very high quality like fine art like photo printing on.
And it's printed with ink, right? Not sewn in like a jacquard loom.
No, yeah, it's just printed.
Nice. Okay, sorry, I digress. Keep going, and you have 5 more minutes.
These are really great questions.
Thanks.
I'm gonna try and get out of my. I can do this. All right. So now I'm going to go over to some artists. So this is Josh Fott. I worked closely with him in grad school. It was such a pleasure. So with his work, he does a lot of jacquard, AVL, and then also hand woven. So there's multiple where I think of like floor looms is the most kind of hands on. If you want to get detail, it's hard. AVL is right in the middle where you kind of think of like maybe 16-bit, maybe like almost like Atari, like it's very blocky, like the text over here on the left hand side. Um, this was all made on AVL loom, and then let's see. I'm not sure if he has anything made on a jacquard loom. This might be made on a jacquard loom. I'm not entirely sure though, because it could also be on AVL. But a lot of his work has to do with self-help and also kind of the history of like, gay and queer culture, stemming from the 80s and the 90s. A lot of his work is really, really funny. He puts these novelty pens that he finds, and it's been lovely, but I have to scream now. And if you knew him, it's like he has a Kathy Christmas button on top of, so, and then he also has a deep love of soap operas, like deep, deep love. I also just love this one because of, the bow, the keyboard, all of it is so great. So now I'm gonna move over to Diedrich, who I met. He's the reason why I started weaving. He's the reason why I switched from painting to textiles. So he's had a really big impact on me. And this is pretty recent work. Really beautiful and lovely. I look to him a lot when I'm thinking about narrative and the potential of poetics within work and how it is truly possible. Just takes a lot of time. Not only with the type of equipment or tools or processes you're using, but also just time developing the work and the conceptual concerns within your practice.
Have people compared his work to Kara Walker a lot?
I'll have to ask him that. That's actually really great, especially with this new work with the black figure, and that is his. That is, I should have mentioned this, but that is his body. He's using his own kind of profile, his figure in a lot of his works. Primarily, it's all him.
Right, and it's all like silhouettes with like very stark contrast between the light background and the very dark figure.
Yeah, so it's also talking about his body, his black body, his, Southern gay black body within the work, which is also lovely. You just always want to be looking at his weavings.
Yeah. Nice.
So I'm going to move quickly to Ree Morton.
Yeah, we have about 1 minute left. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, it's fine. She is an incredible artist. This is a larger installation of her work. Also, again, has had a huge impact on me within kind of sentimentality and storytelling and playfulness and not willing to give up things that are important to you, even if they aren't taken seriously in the art world. So that's the impact Ree Morton has had on me.
And that's a great takeaway from talking about craft in the fine art world.
Yes, that is huge, and I don't think I got to that, but and then almost on the flip side of that coin, here is someone who is working within tapestry weaving, which is a style of weaving I don't do. I'm really interested in starting to, but these look like paintings, and they're actually hand woven. Tapestry weaving takes so much time, I can't even begin to tell you. And they're all just so incredibly detailed. Erin Riley, and then I actually just closed the other one.
That's okay. We're actually out of time. Thank you so much, Dani.
Perfect.